Hi, I'm Jason Horsch, owner of Xanadu Gallery in Scottsdale and Pinetop, Arizona, and this is a moment in art history where we look at great works of art, share their stories, talk about their impact, and I give you my reaction to the work. Today's painting is American Gothic by Grant Wood. I would argue that there are few works of art in American art history that are more iconic than this 1930 painting by Iowan artist Grant Wood. This image has become so ingrained in the American psyche that I suspect many people don't even realize it's a painting. It's been parodied, used in ads, and incorporated into products countless times over the 90 years since Wood created the painting. American Gothic depicts a farmer and his spinster daughter posing before their farmhouse with its gabled window and tracery in the American Gothic style, hence the name. Interestingly, the models for this painting were actually the artist's sister and his dentist. When the newspapers in Wood's hometown of Cedar Rapids, Iowa, first presented an image of American Gothic, the painting sparked a backlash. This dour portrayal was not how the locals saw themselves, and they resented being presented this way to the world. One farm wife was so enraged by the painting that she threatened to bite Wood's ear off. Another suggested that he have his head bashed in. Wood was stunned by the acrimony, insisting he was a loyal Iowan who meant no offense, only homage. Grant Wood was indeed a Midwesterner, born in Iowa in 1891. After his father's death, when Woods was still a boy, he apprenticed in a metal shop, graduated from high school, and enrolled in the Handicraft Guild of Minneapolis in 1910. In 1913, he enrolled at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. During the 1920s, Wood made 4 trips to Europe where he studied Impressionism and Post-Impressionism. It was the work of Jan van Eyck that really inspired him, however, and ultimately influenced his style. During the Great Depression, Wood became a great proponent of regionalism and traveled lecturing throughout the country on the subject. Fortunately for us, his most famous painting survived local criticism. Wood entered the painting in a competition at the Art Institute of Chicago. One judge deemed it a comic Valentine, but a museum patron persuaded the jury to award the painting the bronze medal and a $300 cash prize. The same patron also persuaded the Art Institute to buy the painting, and it remains part of the Chicago Museum's collection. The image soon began to be reproduced in newspapers, first by the Chicago Evening Post, and then in New York, Boston, Kansas City, and Indianapolis. As I said, when the image finally appeared in the Cedar Rapids Gazette, there was a backlash. Iowans were furious at their depiction as pinched, grim-faced, puritanical Bible thumpers. Wood protested, saying that he had not painted a caricature of Iowans, but a depiction of his appreciation, stating, "I had to go to France to appreciate Iowa." Art critics who had favorable opinions about the painting, such as Gertrude Stein and Christopher Morley, similarly assumed the painting was meant to be a satire of rural small-town life. It was thus seen as part of a trend toward increasingly critical depictions of rural America, typified by Sherwood Anderson's 1919 novel Winesburg, Ohio, and Sinclair Lewis's 1920 Main Street, and Carl Van Vechten's 1924 The Tattooed Countess. However, with the onset of the Great Depression, not too long after the painting was made, American Gothic came to be seen as a depiction of steadfast American pioneer spirit. Wood assisted this interpretive transition by renouncing his bohemian youth in Paris and grouping himself with populist Midwestern painters such as John Stuart Curry and Thomas Hart Benton, who revolted against the dominance of East Coast art circles. Wood was quoted in this period as stating, "All the good ideas I've ever had came while I was milking a cow." I've visited the Art Institute of Chicago twice, and both times I devoted significant time to studying and enjoying American Gothic. I was not alone. American Gothic, I was told, is one of the most popular pieces in the museum. It hangs near another icon of American art, Nighthawks by Edward Hopper, another of my personal favorites. The painting, at about 30 by 26 inches, is somehow smaller than I would have expected, but this in no way diminishes the impact the piece has. I won't pretend to speak to the technical merits of the painting. It's more than competently executed. But I would argue that American Gothic is a great painting, not because of Wood's skill as a painter, but rather because of his vision as an artist. The title of this video might be a little misleading. We've come to think of iconic, meaning that some object is the best example of something. While American Gothic is certainly a great example of 20th century art in America, there are many other pieces that vie for preeminence. Instead, what I mean is that American Gothic has some of the same qualities that Byzantine and European icons displayed. These icons were created to aid the faithful in their devotion to saintly figures and to highlight their qualities and attributes. American Gothic can similarly be viewed as a symbol of the hard work and simplicity that were so important to Americans in the last century. Thanks for joining me for this moment in art history. If you enjoyed this bit of art history, be sure and subscribe so you'll be notified about future art history videos. I would love to hear your impressions of American Gothic. Do you like the painting? Have you seen it in person? What impact has it had on you? Do you agree or disagree that it's the most iconic painting in American art? If not, what painting do you feel is even more iconic? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I look forward to seeing you in the next moment in art history.